You know what surprised me when I first started really looking into type 2 diabetes? Most people think it's just about eating too much sugar. Like, oh, I had too many donuts, now I have diabetes. But that's not how it works. Not even close. Type 2 diabetes is more like a slow, quiet breakdown in how your body handles energy. It can take years to show up, and by the time it does, a lot has already changed under the surface. And that's exactly why understanding what's really going on matters. Because when you get it, the whole thing stops feeling like some random diagnosis and starts feeling like something you can actually work with. So here's the big picture. Your body runs on glucose. That's just a fancy word for sugar in your blood, and it's the main fuel for your brain, muscles, and organs. After you eat, your blood sugar rises. Totally normal. In response, your pancreas releases insulin, which acts like a key that unlocks your cells so glucose can get inside and be used for energy or stored for later. In a healthy system, this dance between glucose and insulin keeps your blood sugar in a pretty tight range. Not too high, not too low. It's quiet, efficient, and you never even notice it. But in type 2 diabetes, that system stops responding properly. The cells in your muscles, liver, and fat tissue start ignoring insulin's signal. That's what people mean by insulin resistance. It's like the locks on the doors are rusty. The key still fits, but it doesn't work very well anymore. So your pancreas tries to fix the problem by pumping out more insulin. At first it works. Blood sugar stays normal, but insulin levels are higher than they should be. Over time, though, the pancreas gets tired. Those insulin-producing beta cells can only work overtime for so long. Eventually, they can't keep up. Blood sugar starts to rise. And that's when type 2 diabetes shows up on a blood test. What's wild is how many systems are involved in this. It's not just one broken part. Your muscles don't take up glucose as easily. Your liver keeps making glucose even when it doesn't need to. Your fat tissue releases more fatty acids into the bloodstream, which makes insulin resistance worse. Your gut hormones that normally help boost insulin after meals don't work as well. Even your kidneys start reabsorbing more glucose instead of letting it leave in urine. And your brain's appetite signals get a little scrambled too. All of this stacks together. It's not one problem. It's a whole network drifting out of balance. And that's why type 2 diabetes can creep up silently. A lot of people don't feel anything at first. No pain, no warning alarm. Maybe you're a little more tired than usual. Maybe you're thirstier. Maybe you're peeing more often. But life is busy, so you brush it off. By the time someone says, hey, your blood sugar is high, the body has already been struggling for a while. When symptoms do show up, they often make sense once you understand the mechanism. High blood sugar pulls water with it, so you get thirsty and you urinate more. You might notice blurry vision because extra glucose changes how fluid shifts in your eyes. You might feel run down because even though there's sugar in your blood, it's not getting into your cells efficiently. It's like standing outside a locked grocery store while starving. And then there are the long-term risks, which are the part nobody wants to think about, but everyone should understand. Chronically high blood sugar damages blood vessels and nerves. Over time, that can affect the eyes, kidneys, heart, and feet. That's why diabetes is linked to vision loss, kidney failure, heart attacks, strokes, and nerve pain. It's not that sugar is directly attacking organs like some cartoon villain. It's more like years of metabolic stress slowly wear down the lining of blood vessels and the function of nerves. Oxidative stress goes up. Inflammation goes up. Harmful byproducts from glucose stick to proteins in the body and mess with how they work. It's a slow grind. Here's the thing, though. None of this means your future is automatically doomed. Type 2 diabetes is serious, but it's also one of the most lifestyle-sensitive chronic diseases we know of. And that's not motivational poster talk. That's biology. When you improve insulin sensitivity, your blood sugar improves. When you reduce excess fat, especially around the abdomen and liver, insulin works better. When muscles are active, they pull glucose out of the blood without even needing as much insulin. Your body actually wants to regulate itself better. It just needs the conditions to do it. Let's talk about food, because that's usually the first thing people ask about. The biggest issue isn't one single food, it's the overall pattern. Diets high in refined carbs and added sugars push blood sugar up fast and often. Over time, that constant spike puts pressure on the insulin system. On the flip side, diets built around vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats tend to raise blood sugar more slowly and keep you full longer. Fiber slows down how quickly glucose enters the bloodstream. Protein helps with satiety and muscle maintenance. Healthy fats support hormone balance and reduce extreme swings in blood sugar. It's not about being perfect. It's about shifting the average day in a better direction. And weight loss when needed is powerful. Not because thinness is magic, but because excess fat, especially around the organs, directly drives insulin resistance. Studies have shown that losing around 10 to 15% of body weight can dramatically improve blood sugar control and, in some people, even led to remission. That doesn't mean diabetes vanishes forever, but it does mean blood sugar can return to non-diabetic levels without medication, at least for a time. That's not a miracle. That's physiology responding to reduced metabolic stress. Movement is the other big lever. Muscles are huge consumers of glucose. When you use them, they soak up sugar from the blood. And the effect lasts beyond the workout itself. Regular physical activity makes your cells more sensitive to insulin. You don't need to become a marathon runner. Brisk walking, cycling, swimming, resistance training, anything that gets your heart rate up and challenges your muscles helps. Aim for consistency more than intensity. 30 minutes most days beats one brutal workout, and then nothing for 2 weeks. Then there's sleep and stress, which people underestimate. Chronic stress raises cortisol, and cortisol pushes blood sugar up. Poor sleep does the same thing and also makes you hungrier the next day. It's not about achieving some monk-like calm. It's about recognizing that your nervous system and your metabolism talk to each other all the time. If one is constantly in panic mode, the other pays the price. Now about medications. Lifestyle is the foundation, but for many people it's not enough on its own. And that's okay. This isn't a moral test, it's a medical condition. The most common first medication is metformin. It works mainly by reducing glucose production in the liver and improving insulin sensitivity. It doesn't usually cause low blood sugar on its own, and it's been studied for decades. Other medications work in different ways. Some help the pancreas release more insulin. Some increase the effect of gut hormones that boost insulin after meals. Some cause the kidneys to dump extra glucose into the urine. Newer drugs that mimic GLP-1 can reduce appetite, slow stomach emptying, and improve blood sugar at the same time. In some cases, insulin itself is needed, especially if the pancreas can't keep up anymore. The goal of treatment isn't to chase a perfect number at any cost. It's to keep blood sugar in a range that reduces the risk of complications while keeping quality of life reasonable. Targets are individualized. For many adults, an HbA1c around 6.5 to 7% is a common goal, but that depends on age, other conditions, and what medications are being used. This is where working with a doctor really matters, because the right plan for one person might not be right for another. One thing I really want to say clearly is this: type 2 diabetes is not just about willpower. Yes, habits matter, but genetics matter too. Age matters. Ethnicity matters. Hormones matter. Medications matter. Life circumstances matter. Some people can eat the same way for years and never develop diabetes. Others develop it even with what looks like a normal lifestyle. Blame doesn't help. Understanding helps. And here's where it gets interesting. We used to think type 2 diabetes was always progressive, meaning it would inevitably get worse over time. Now we know that's not always true. Early in the disease especially, the system can rebound. Beta cells can recover some function. Insulin resistance can improve. Blood sugar can normalize. But timing matters. The longer the system has been under strain, the harder it is to reverse. That's why screening and early action are so important. If you're listening to this and thinking, "This sounds like me," the first step is simple. Get tested. A fasting glucose, an HbA1c, or an oral glucose tolerance test can tell you where you stand. If you're in the pre-diabetes range, that's actually good news. It means you caught it early. Lifestyle changes at that stage can prevent or delay full diabetes in many people. If you already have diabetes, it's still worth knowing that improvements are possible. Not guaranteed, not instant, but possible. And I know this can feel overwhelming. You hear about food changes, exercise, medications, complications, and your brain goes, "Cool, I'll just ignore this and eat pasta." Totally human. But you don't have to change everything at once. Start with one thing. Walk after dinner. Swap sugary drinks for water. Add more vegetables to one meal. Small shifts compound over time. One of the biggest myths is that people with diabetes can never enjoy food again. That's just not true. It's about learning how different foods affect you. Some people do fine with small portions of carbs paired with protein and fat. Others need to be more careful. Glucose monitors, whether finger sticks or continuous sensors, can be powerful feedback tools. They turn abstract advice into real data. You eat something, you see what happens. No guessing, no shame, just information. Another myth is that medication means you failed. That's like saying glasses mean you failed at seeing. Sometimes the tool is necessary, and sometimes the tool is temporary. There are people who start medication, improve their lifestyle, lose weight, and later reduce or stop certain drugs under medical supervision. That's not weakness. That's adaptation. If there's one emotional piece I want to leave you with, it's this. Type 2 diabetes is a condition of overload, not deficiency. The body isn't broken because it's weak. It's overwhelmed, overfed, overworked, overstressed, underrested. When you remove some of that load, the system often responds better than you'd expect. So if you take nothing else from this, take this. Type 2 diabetes is about insulin resistance and reduced insulin production working together. It develops quietly. It affects many parts of the body. It can cause serious complications if ignored. But it is also deeply influenced by lifestyle, and meaningful improvement is possible. Not by chasing miracle cures, not by starving yourself, and not by blaming yourself, but by understanding what's happening and working with your body instead of against it. If this changed how you think about type 2 diabetes, hit subscribe. I break down health science like this every week. Real research, no hype, just useful stuff you can actually use.